Wheat can be one of the most profitable crops in the rotation, but only if you get a few key decisions right in the fall and a few more in the spring. Today on Kernels, we're sharing practical wheat growing tips from one of the top wheat researchers in the country. Insights you could take straight back to the field. It's all coming up next on Kernels. Welcome to Kernels. I'm Tad Nicholson. Today we're talking wheat, what works, what doesn't, and the management decisions that really make a difference come harvest. To help walk us through it all is Dr. Lindsey from the Ohio State University Extension. Laura, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Laura, you've spent a lot of time studying soft red winter wheat, growing it right here in Ohio. From your perspective, what's the single biggest lesson we've learned about successfully growing wheat in Ohio?
So wheat is really resilient, and I think that's the thing I've been surprised most with our research. We've done planting date, seeding rate, row widths, and it can be really resilient. It's very weather dependent, but if you have a good year and maybe something didn't go quite right at planting, wheat can recover and yield very well.
Sometimes wheat gets overlooked in the rotation, being a corn and bean state, but it brings benefit far beyond just the grain itself. So from your perspective, what role does wheat play in strengthening the overall system that a farmer is dealing with?
Yeah, 100%. So we've done some research looking at corn, soybean versus corn, soybean, wheat rotations, and we found an increase of 5 bushel per acre on average soybean yield when wheat's included in the rotation. So that alone is a huge benefit just by having that crop in rotation. There's also additional benefits such as straw. Straw can be very profitable. And then also if you're in an area that can double crop, the double crop soybeans can really add to the overall profitability of the system.
You mentioned double cropping. So one of the strategies that a lot of farmers would love to see is that double cropping line move north in Ohio. What's some strategies that we might use?
Yeah, so profitability is always a thing to factor in, right? So that's the price of wheat, the price of soybean, and the cost of your inputs. And so we have a economic calculator. It's an Excel-based calculator at Ohio State. It's on my website where you can put in your projected crop yields, the input costs, and get an estimate what's going to be the most profitable system. Is it monocrop soybeans or is it really wheat plus double crop soybeans? So you can put in your own numbers and do those calculations. We do know as you move further north, soybean yield potential is lower for double crops because your growing season is condensed, but we have these tools where you can put in your own numbers and run them yourself.
Dr. Clay Sneller is working on a project along with a lot of other breeders around the country to identify early maturing varieties of wheat. Have you any insight on that? Is there a certain ones that we can get off a week or so ahead of time?
So we haven't looked at those yet. I do the performance test at Ohio State, the variety testing program. We haven't looked at those varieties yet, but if there is ways to harvest, 5, 7, 10 days earlier, you can make huge gains with double crop soybean.
What are the most persistent challenges Ohio wheat farmers are facing today, and are those challenges starting to change?
So I think weather, and that goes for any crop anywhere, weather is a huge challenge. For wheat specifically, we see a lot of wet weather in the fall, and that can have problems when it comes to planting on time. Recently, we've had problems with dry weather in the fall. Up in northwest Ohio this year, it was very, very dry, and farmers planted on time, but it didn't come up because the soils were so dry. And then weather continues to be a problem when we get to harvest. If there's harvest delays, also an issue in the state. So weather is a problem, probably the number one problem. And it's not going to go away either.
Not sure Extension has a solution for that one, right?
Well, the solution as an agronomist is do the best you can with what you can control. So you can control, to some extent, your planting date, your variety selection, your seeding rate. So try to control what you can because other things are going to get in the way. From
green up in the spring all the way through harvest, what's the most crucial management window growers simply can't afford to miss?
I think coming out of spring is really important, making sure you get nitrogen applied. Wheat needs nitrogen. There's a larger window maybe than what we think to apply it between green up and Feek 6. That's really important. And of course, fusarium head blight control. So knowing what your variety's resistance is and coming up with a plan to manage for fusarium head blight.
Harvest can make or break wheat quality. What practical harvest tips help protect test weight, falling number, and overall grain quality?
Timely harvest. Very, very important. We see really big issues when grain is dry and then it gets re-wetted. And it doesn't have to be a lot of rain, but if dry grain is re-wetted, that's where we see a lot of issues in quality.
Vomitoxin or DON remains a concern in Ohio wheat. Based on your research, what are the most effective strategies farmers can use to reduce the risk of head scab and protect grain quality?
Sure. So variety selection, again, I think is your first tool. With the variety testing program, I looked at the top 5 yielding varieties in Ohio, and all of them were either resistant or moderately resistant to Fusarium head blight. So I think that's your first tool. Watching the Fusarium head blight or head scab forecasting tools to know what's going on, and then planning your application at the right time, which is flowering.
So if an Ohio farmer listening today could make just one management change to improve the way that their wheat crop is performing, what would you where would you suggest they start?
I think Ohio State Extension has a lot of resources, and following the corn newsletter is a really good way to see what's going on. So when we get close to flowering, you'll start seeing newsletter articles in that those issues that will tell you, hey, you need to look out for Fusarium head blight or whatever is coming up. So really, to stay up to date on what we see in the field, following our corn newsletter is a really great strategy.
So right now, farmers are starting to evaluate fields coming out of that winter hibernation. Sometimes we make mistakes as farmers on that. What's your advice to somebody looking at a field that maybe doesn't look quite as good as they hoped it would, but where do you take them?
Yeah, so this goes back to that where we started, where wheat's very resilient. And certainly there are times where your wheat field needs to be destroyed and plant another crop. But more times than not, that wheat will probably be okay. And so you can do stand assessments, very labor intense to count tillers and do those assessments, but they can be useful tools to estimate your wheat yield. But we do see wheat as a very plastic crop. So sometimes maybe our stand isn't what we want. But when we see lower stands, we may see more kernels per head or heavier kernels in each seed. So wheat's very resilient, and it has ways to compensate.
So once a year, farmers can get together and take a look at some of the research that's being done by Ohio State University. Our small grains board always goes to it. We have a board meeting that day. When is that field day this year, and where's that?
Sure. This year it's on June 17th, and it'll be in the morning with lunch after the field day in the morning. And it's at the Western Ag Research Station in South Charleston.
Lots of great experts that are going to be on hand. I encourage everyone to attend. When we come back, connecting Ohio-grown corn to horsepower is a summertime staple.
Long days, sleepless nights, providing not only for your family, but growing food for families around the world. Friends ask why you want to farm, and it's hard to put into words, but you know why you do it. You love the work. You love the land. This is your dream. This is your legacy. Ag Credit can help you pursue that dream. We have what it takes to move your farming ideas from the seeds of promise to the soil of profit. Whether you're young, beginning, small, or part of a mature growing operation, we have the products and services to help you succeed. Ag Credit, your partner for the farm, your partner for the future.
In today's ag landscape, technology has to do more than look good on paper. At AgriSpray Drones, we don't just sell spray drones, we use them, test them, and support the people who rely on them. Built on integrity, education, and service, we set realistic expectations, simplify the learning curve, and stay with our customers every step of the season. Because empowering rural America means making sure you succeed in the field. Find an AgriSpray Drones dealer near you.
Tractor pulling season is upon us, and the Ohio Corn Checkoff proudly partners with the Ohio Tractor Pullers Association and the National Tractor Pullers Association to help promote unleaded 88 to fans across the state and the country. Joining me today is Chad Taylor, president of OSTPA, and Dan Schreier, responsible for sponsorships and marketing at NTPA. Gentlemen, thanks for being on Kernels.
Thanks for having us.
us.
Really appreciate it.
Chad, for someone who's never been to a pull before, what's making this sport so appealing?
I mean, since the beginning of tractor pulling, OSTPA has been around since 1963. It was about competition. It was about seeing the baddest tractors out there, making the most horsepower, excitement. And it's even got more diverse now. It's really exciting to see a pro stock tractor making 5,000 horsepower tearing down a track, or a pro stock semi that weighs 20,000 pounds, or two-wheel drive trucks that are just exciting and loud, just like you got in drag racing motors making 3,000 horsepower, mini modifieds that get all crazy and exciting on the track all over the place. So whether it's a turbo spooling up that you love to hear that sound, or whether it's the roar of the engine or the diesel fumes, or it could be just the race fuel smells that you hear. But it's just exciting. Sometimes it's just even feeling the engines as they're going down the track as you sit in the metal grandstands and you can just feel them. But for me, even one of the more important things that I love about tractor pulling is when fans can come back to the pits, they can get up close and personal with these tractors, these trucks. They can talk to these drivers, their families that a lot of them have done this for 30, 40, 50 years and hear their stories and see where they came from and where they are now, get some pictures with them. It's just an experience as a whole.
Man, Chad, you're making me excited to get out to the polls. I hope this season starts very soon. Hey, Dan, tractor pulling has a deep roots in agriculture. How's the sport still reflect that farm heritage today?
Tractor pulling, Ted, really started with farmers testing their equipment and their ingenuity. And that spirit is so much still alive with the NTPA today. Many of our competitors either come from farming backgrounds or they're still actively involved in agriculture. You know, the machines may look a lot different now with incredible horsepower, incredible engineering, but the mindset is still the same. It's about problem solving, mechanical skill, and pushing their equipment to perform at the highest level. Now, when fans come to an NTPA event, they're just not seeing motorsports. They're seeing a sport that grew directly out of American agriculture and still celebrates that heritage every night and every day on the track.
One of the reasons Ohio Corn Checkoff is involved is to promote Unleaded 88. Why is tractor pulling such a great platform to showcase fuels like Unleaded 88?
Tractor pulling is a great platform to showcase Unleaded 88 because our audience already understands performance, horsepower, and the importance of fuel. So fans who come to NTPA events appreciate what goes into building and powering these incredible machines. So conversations about fuel naturally resonate with them. So it's also a very strong agriculture audience. Many of our fans are actually farmers or they come from rural communities. So there's a direct connection between the corn grown in their fields and ethanol-based fuels like Unleaded 88.
I think for Ohio State as well as NTPA, our competitors as well as our fans are all involved in agriculture. A lot of them are involved in agriculture. They understand what's going on. So they also understand the ethanol industry. They understand everything that's going on that we're trying to promote. So it helps them, fans as well as our competitors, to be better ambassadors to Unleaded 88 and really promote the product in a way that it also supports them at home as well.
I think a lot of your audience really just appreciates the fact that it's made from corn, but they're really excited when they find out they can save money by using it. So, Chad, as we head into the season, what are you most excited about this year?
For us, our competitors, we're all just excited to get on the track. All of our guys, we had meetings last weekend, our final rules meetings as we're wrapping up, getting things going. And they're just excited to get on the track. They're talking about putting their motors together and what the final schedule is going to look like and just to get out there. But something new for Ohio State tractor pullers this year is we're going to have a video board at all of our events through a partnership with the Pro Pulling League and IHRA that's going to be available. It's going to add to our shows. It's going to bring a leaderboard. It's going to give us opportunities to promote our partnerships in a better and stronger way at all of our events around Ohio, from where we start on June 19th, clear up in northwest Ohio, to where we finish down in Coshocton, Ohio on October 3rd for our finale event, which was phenomenal last year, just to bring our top dogs in and let them battle it out for some extra prize money in front of an awesome crowd there at Coshocton County.
Dan, before we wrap up, if someone's never been to a tractor pull before, what would you say to convince them to come out and experience it at least once?
I always tell people that a tractor pull is something you have to experience in person. When a 10,000 pound or 10,000 horsepower machine hooks up to a sled and the engines fire, you can feel it in the ground. And Chad said this earlier, you can feel it in your chest. At an event with the NTPA, you're going to see multiple classes of trucks and tractors, incredible engineering, and some of the best drivers in motorsports. I mean, we just started, we had a regional event in Florida in February, last weekend in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I leave tomorrow for Zellwood, Florida, for a Southern Swing. For the next 2 weekends, we're going to have grand national events in Florida. And when we're there, just as important, it's a family-friendly atmosphere with strong agricultural roots. So when someone comes to their first pull and sees the power, the competition, and the passion from the fans, they always want to come back.
You know, for people who want to follow the season in all the events and all the excitement, where can they go to learn about both your associations and the events coming up? Dan?
Fans can follow NTPA all season long. They can follow it in person and on television. So our championship polling series, presented by Case IH and now our new partner, Steiner Tractor Parts, airs on RFD TV every Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m., and has a few replays during the week. They can also visit our website at ntpapoll.com. Again, ntpapoll.com, and they can get schedules, results, upcoming events from all over America.
Chad, what's OSTPA's website? Where can they follow you?
You can follow us over on www.ostpa.com. We'll have updates, even live results each night, as well as our point standings and all of our upcoming events. All the information will be right there for you.
And everyone, make sure you follow them both on social media as well.
Introducing the latest innovation for corn. Powerful residual chemistry, unleashed in a pre- or early post-application. Don't chase weeds. Attack them. Certain herbicide from BASF.
Every business makes its own path, and every future comes with tough decisions. Whether you're planning for tomorrow, protecting the people you love, or building something meant to last, you deserve advisors who understand your world. At Element, we know your business is personal. We take the time to listen, to learn what matters most, and to protect what you've worked so hard to build. Let's take the next step together. Visit elementrisk.com today to get started.
Well, that's a wrap for this edition of Kernels. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you always stay up to date. You can also follow us on Facebook and our other social media channels for more great content and conversations.